Hello, I'm Tony Vlahos for ExecuNet. Thanks as always for tuning in. Two challenges in today's competitive executive job market are one, finding the best talent, and number two, knowing how to retain the talent hired. My guest today knows an awful lot about both areas. Barb Bruno is an internationally recognized recruiting expert. She has trained over 25,000 recruiters in 13 countries. Barb shares her insights, lessons learned, and actionable techniques in her lovely new book titled High Tech, High Touch Recruiting. Barbara, it's good to be talking to you.
Nice to be talking to you too, Tony.
Wonderful. So, almost 30% of US job seekers leave a new job within the first 30 days. Why?
Primarily because the job that was described to them by the recruiter, once they get on the job, they realize that that's not the job that they thought they accepted, or they don't fit in with the culture. All of a sudden they realize that it's not a cultural fit. They're not getting along with the coworkers. And the third reason is often they've got several interviews going. Candidates don't look at one job, they look at several. And often they accept a job, they start with a company, and then they get a better offer. And so they leave because they got a better offer than they got with their current company.
Mm-hmm. Does this point, Barbara, to a problem with the hiring process? I think that's what you're touching on.
It really does. The traditional hiring process is not working anymore. There's such competition for top talent, and everybody wants everything now. The other thing is, I think it comes down a lot to not only the interviewing process, but the traditional job rec that was just this long laundry list of skill sets. And so, say somebody wanted 10 things, that they insist that they have. So the recruiter goes out there and gets them all 10 things. But the job description, often there's a disconnect between what's on the job rec and how the candidate will actually be evaluated in 6 months. So my advice to everybody has been, it's extremely important that when you're writing a job rec, you never use the same job rec for a future hire, because the job has changed because of the person that's been in the job. And then add on performance objectives. Add on, how is this person going to actually be evaluated after 6 months or a year, where you say, God, this. And we find that when we ask people for performance objectives and then we look at the job rec, there's a big disconnect. Some of the skills that they would need to accomplish the performance objectives are not listed, and they're asking for a lot of skills that are not going to be used. So it just fine tunes that job rec, which also enhances the interviewing process.
Mm-hmm. And your book is filled with so many different approaches to ensuring, or at least helping ensure, that hiring decision makers know how to spot the best person for the job. Let's talk about the historic dynamic between executives and recruiters. Executives don't hold a fond view of the recruiting audience or public. Help us break some perceptions and myths there.
Right. I think that executives for years have almost viewed HR and recruiters as a necessary evil. They try to go out there and fill the job on their own, and then they might give specs to the recruiters or the HR department, talent acquisition department, and they don't give them thorough information. And then they get frustrated when they're not given the talent they want, and so the traditional has not been this partnership. I see it changing, because truly your recruiters and your talent acquisition department are the heart of your company. I mean, they can help you hire the right people. And you don't only want to hire them, you want the people you hire to become engaged and retained employees. It's, hiring is just the first step. It's, how does that person become engaged and retained? And the only way you're going to accomplish that as an executive is to really have a very good intake session with the recruiter. Let them know every problem you're trying to solve, the skill sets that are missing in the department, performance objectives, and really partner with them and give them the information they need and give them feedback. Because I think one of the most frustrating things in that relationship is if an executive interviews someone and then they just go, well, they weren't a fit. I'm not interested. Well, why are you not interested? Well, it just wasn't a fit. That doesn't help the recruiters fine tune their search on their behalf. So the more you inform and the more you partner with the recruiters, the better talent you're going to hire.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that struck me, of course, immediately when I received your book is the title, High Touch and High Tech. Most of us don't think of those two terms in one breath, and we don't think of them as complementary terms. How do you think of them?
I think that they are complementary terms. And when I first went into the recruiting profession, it was very high touch because technology did not play such a big role as it is right now. The problem is what happened to recruiters is they went from being high touch and very involved in building relationships to depending on job boards, for instance, to get talent, which are not near as effective as they were when they first came out. And so, recruiters need to recruit. Recruiters need to build networks of top talent. And what happened is technology, many recruiters feel that candidates will only correspond by text and email. Well, they will if they don't see the benefit in talking to them. And so I think what happened is the pendulum went from high touch way over to high tech, and that personal touch was gone. And how candidates feel is that we don't care about them. All we care about are the executives that we're trying to satisfy. We don't care about them. And so I teach recruiters all the time when you go out there, don't pitch a specific job, pitch a conversation about what do you see as your next career move, and then determine after you find out what this person sees as their next career move, then you can see if your job fits or not. The greatest place to be is right in the middle, where you use technology, and AI is becoming a big part of recruiting right now. You use technology, you use AI, you use anything that you can use to be more efficient. But recruiting has been, is, and always will be a relationship building business. And most of your candidates, most of your new hires should be referrals from your current employees. And if you're not getting a lot of internal referrals, then you realize that even the people that are working for you, they're not as engaged and happy as you think they are. So it's that combination. I feel that high tech, high touch complements each other. And that's when you win. That's when everybody wins. The hiring authority wins. They hire the best people. The candidates become, engaged and retained. And the recruiters are satisfied because they're able to do a great job.
Mm-hmm. So one final question, Barbara, and it's not contained, at least expressly in the covers of the book. It has to do with hiring right now. As you know, many executives look at the season as possibly a sleepy time. They tell themselves, I'm going to put this off until January when the peak season really begins. What is your advice to executives who are looking at that period? Do you recommend they wait or act now?
I would recommend that they hire right now. And let me tell you why. Because there are very, very good people right now that are available. And what happens after January, many companies feel the same way. So let's wait till after January 1. We'll put it in next year's hiring budget and let's see what happens. There is so much more competition for talent after January 1st. And yet there's a tremendous amount of people that are looking to make a career move now. And so again, I think that the last quarter of the year should be your heaviest hiring quarter. You should spend your hiring budget and you should go out there and find the top talent. And also around the holidays, people can take more time off. A lot of people are working virtual right now, but for those that are not, it's easier to get time off. Like the Friday after Thanksgiving, we probably have 17 interviews set up, because a lot of companies are not working. So it's a great time to schedule interviews. So you can use the holidays, people can take time off, and it's just a great time to hire.
Well said. The book, again, folks, is High Tech, High Touch Recruiting: How to Attract and Retain the Best Talent by Improving the Candidate Experience. Barbara Bruno, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the book. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your comments, and it's been great. I really enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Bye.